Can you give us some background on yourself? I mean, some A's fans, might remember you from Athletics Nation when you were a writer there. But you're a lawyer and you're an A's fan and you're just naturally invested in this. Can you just kind of give us some background of, where your interest in this and why you're kind of injecting yourself into this conversation,
Yeah, and I admit I definitely am injecting myself in this conversation. I make no bones about this. I have, I'm not a citizen of Nevada. I have, all I can do is just bring facts in front of them. But I have no standing as someone who like supports or opposes the project because I am not from there. And so,
Uh-huh.
with that understanding. But to go back to your question, so yeah, I wrote for Athletics Nation. I started writing back when. For all the spare time I had studying for the bar exam in 2014, and so wrote there for a few years, I guess 2 or 3 years or so, and then my actual day job actually started taking over all of my time, so I figured I'll have to back off and just merely tweet about this and that about the A's, but now I live in Sacramento now, and at this point, just everything that's been going on with what John Fisher's been doing, it's just made me so upset that really I just want to see that his endeavor is the most without defaming anybody is the most expensive endeavor that he's embarked upon.
Yeah. And what do you just make of this whole process? I mean, I just watched, these past couple meetings and I was really struck by Thursday's meeting that, Sandy Dean, he's like the right-hand man of John Fisher, and he's the head of this athletic stadco, this stadium events company that's going to be, kind of running the show for the A's on this process. After he talked, and then after the Las Vegas Stadium Authority attorney Mark Arnold spoke, there was literally no questions at all of these people who are doing this. I mean, what do you make of the Stadium Authority as an oversight committee? Do you feel like they're because it doesn't seem like there's much oversight. It seems like they're kind of just green lighting and just saying, okay, they're just trying to get a team to Vegas no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's like you almost don't expect them to ask questions because either they're asking questions like outside of like these public meetings and like you wouldn't pay attention to like this stadium authority board unless you were someone like me. But like it goes to it kind of goes to like how the people on the board are chosen. So I think let's see, the last legislation just added two members from one's from the Speaker of the Nevada Assembly, the other's from the Majority Leader, but the others are, let's see, it's
they're appointed by like different other
yeah,
bodies of
they're
government,
appointed.
right? They're all
Yeah. So
appointed.
I think it's three by the governor, three by the Clark County Commission, where Las Vegas is. I want to say, and then the one is by I forgot. One is by UNLV because they have interest in the Legion Stadium thing, and then two are picked by the board. Before the A stadium legislation, it was two picked by the board by at the recommendation of the Raiders. And then with the new legislation, I think it's going to be 1-1. I don't know if the A's have been allowed to suggest a member yet, or if that's only after the stadium is if it's approved. But basically, like a lot of the people that have gotten picked are people that are executives on the resort corridor or politicians that have ended up on boards of companies that are on the resort corridor. I think the vice chair, one of the members of the commission is on the board of MGM or not or some operations executive at MGM. I think Jan Jones Blackhurst is on the board of Caesars Entertainment, which owns like practically half of the Las Vegas Strip. And so there are a lot of interests on that board that are generally made happier by the addition of a stadium that is in part paid by not their, well, that is entirely paid by not their money.
Yeah. They're like, oh, free baseball
So
stadium on the strip. Let's do it. Right.
yeah, so
Like,
a lot of good reasons to not ask hard questions from people on the board for sure.
You've been going to these meetings. Can you get us, bring people up to date with where they're at? What do we know? What are we able to glean from these meetings? How is John Fisher's life being made difficult? I mean, it sounds like, I'm never getting any news of any investors or anything else. Like, what can you tell?
I mean, it's hard for me to say. Like, at this point with investors, Sandy Dean's most recent update was just that well, actually, it almost seems like they're going backwards the way that he put the update. It's more like we Sandy Dean put it as like we were never really looking for investors, or we wanted the stadium plans to be more concrete before we went out and looked for equity investors. But now that they're more concrete, which we still haven't seen these supposedly more concrete stadium plans, we do know that it is approximately where it seems to be on the renderings that they showed. Although I imagine it has to be a lot
Yeah, like
smaller.
the location of, because they have 9 acres on that 35-acre site. Yeah,
Right.
but that's
Yeah.
like pretty much the only thing they have, right? It's like just like where it's going to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Sandy Dean said that with respect to some of the debt the A's wanted to sell to investors, there were investors apparently interested in the debt side of things, whereas on the equity side, Sandy Dean's report is that they're just starting. Some of the Twitter rumors are that say that they're overvalued. I can't speak to any of those, but it's the idea that they have to sell something like $850 million of equity and for John Fisher to stay majority owner is kind of hard for me to see, but
Yeah, because right now Forbes has them valued at 1.2 billion, right? So it's like just mathematically, like I mean, unless they get a crazy, above $1.7 billion valuation, but the Orioles just got sold for $1.7 billion last year with Camden Yards. So I don't, I don't see
with
it being
Camden Yards
yeah.
and an agreement for Maryland to give them much more, like $600 million.
$600 million.
What's up with the balloons?
I don't know. I don't know what happened
Yeah,
there.
always get me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like they get like a $600 million. I can't remember if it's like line of credit or if it's like just a grant, but to upgrade Opaki and then I think and then like that same bill, like I think gave the Baltimore Ravens $600 million to upgrade M&T Bank Stadium there. So it's it's a whole thing about wanting to retain the psychic income, which is a phrase I picked up from I wanted to say what's his name, Martin Greenberg's article about non-relocation agreements. Just the idea of like why you hold on to why municipalities like want to hold on to stadiums, even in the face of all the economic evidence and all the arguments. It's that there's a certain psychic income that comes from having a major league stadium, which okay, but I don't know if it's 300 million, 500 million, $1 billion of psychic income. Especially when it comes to all the ongoing types of capital investments that don't hardly ever get discussed, but still flows into all of these stadia.